Listen, life ain't always candlelight dinners and slow walks in the park. Real life is alarm clocks, traffic, bills, kids, work, stress. And sometimes you're just trying to figure out what's for dinner before you fall asleep on the couch. That's the reality. And you know what happens? Love gets put on the back burner because life feels too busy. But let me tell you something. If you want your relationship to last, if you want love to stay alive in the middle of all that chaos, you gotta learn how to be intentional. See, people think love just runs on autopilot. No, love takes gas. You can't drive that car forever without filling the tank. You can't expect your partner to feel seen, heard, and valued if you don't take the time to pour into them, even when life is heavy. Sometimes the busiest people are the ones who need love the most. But we overlook that. We assume they'll understand. We assume they'll wait, and that's how distance starts building. The real key is simple. It's presence. I'm not talking about being in the same room while you're both on your phones. I mean showing up, giving your partner your attention, reminding them that no matter how busy life gets, they still matter to you. You don't have to buy diamonds or plan a trip to Paris. Sometimes it's just a text in the middle of the day that says, "Hey, I thought about you." Sometimes it's taking 5 minutes before bed to look them in the eyes and ask, "How are you really doing?" Love can't survive on autopilot because love needs fuel just like a car needs gas. Too many people think that once they say, "I love you," a few times or once they commit to the relationship, the job is done. They think their partner will automatically know they care without showing it daily. But that's the fastest way for love to grow cold. You see, relationships are living, breathing things. Just like a plant, they need watering, attention, and light. If you don't feed it, it doesn't matter how good the soil is, it's going to wither away. The same goes for love. When life gets busy, it's so easy to think, they'll understand, they know I'm working hard, they know I care. But that silent expectation doesn't give your partner the fuel they need. Nobody wants to be in a relationship where they feel invisible, where their emotions don't get fed. You can't run a marriage, a relationship, or any kind of love connection on yesterday's efforts. Yesterday's "I love you" can't carry today's weight. You've got to be intentional. You've got to show up with fresh effort every single day. Now, here's the thing. Fuel doesn't always mean big, dramatic gestures. It's not about buying expensive gifts or whisking your partner off on fancy vacations. Fuel is in the little things that remind your partner they matter. A quick text in the middle of a busy day that says, "Thinking about you." A hug that lingers just a little longer before you rush out the door. A moment where you actually put your phone down, look your partner in the eye, and listen to how their day went. That's fuel. That's what makes love feel alive. And don't fool yourself into thinking that because you're busy, you're exempt. Being busy is not an excuse. Everybody's busy. But if you care about somebody, you'll carve out space for them. Even 5 intentional minutes can mean more than an entire evening sitting in the same room while both of you are distracted. Fueling love doesn't mean you need hours of time. It means you need effort, focus, and sincerity in the moments you do have. Think about it this way: when you stop putting gas in your car, it doesn't matter how new or shiny that car is, it's going to stall on the side of the road. Relationships stall the same way. You can be with the most beautiful, amazing person, but if you stop fueling that love, it won't keep moving. It won't matter how much potential you had in the beginning. So the real key is to understand that love requires fueling every day. It requires those intentional moments of showing care, respect, and appreciation. Because when you give love that daily fuel, it doesn't just survive, it thrives. And when both people are fueling the connection, it becomes unbreakable, even when life is pulling you in every direction. Respect is the foundation of any lasting relationship, and it's one of the first things people forget when life gets overwhelming. See, love without respect is just words. You can say, "I love you," 100 times, but if your actions don't match up, if your partner feels unheard, dismissed, or taken for granted, those words lose all meaning. Respect is not just about being polite. It's about valuing your partner's presence, their time, their feelings, their opinions, and even their silence. It's about making sure they never feel like they're competing with your job, your phone, or your stress for a spot in your life. When life gets busy, the temptation is to cut corners. You start saying, "I'll get to it later. I'll talk to them tomorrow." Or, "They'll be fine, they know I care." But that's where disrespect sneaks in, not always loud or obvious, but in the little ways that say, you're not as important as what I've got going on right now. That's when your partner starts to feel small, and once someone feels small long enough, they start to question if they even belong in your world. That's dangerous ground. Respect is about listening, even when you're tired. It's about keeping your promises, even when they're small. If you said you'd call, call. If you said you'd be home by 7, make the effort, or at least communicate if things change. That consistency builds trust, and trust is what keeps love strong through the storms of life. When respect slips, trust cracks. And once trust cracks, love starts to wobble like a chair with a broken leg. It can't hold weight the way it used to. Another part of respect is giving your partner space to be themselves. Don't try to control. Don't try to mold them into who you want them to be. Respect means honoring who they are, even if they're different from you. It means celebrating their strengths, supporting their dreams, and never tearing them down with criticism or comparison. Because if you're with someone you don't respect, or if you constantly make them feel less, then they're going to start pulling away emotionally, even if they're still physically present. And here's the truth. Respect doesn't take grand effort, but it does take mindfulness. It's as simple as saying, thank you for the little things. It's about listening without interrupting. It's making your partner feel like their thoughts matter, even if you don't always agree. It's treating them with the same dignity you'd give a stranger on the street, but with a deeper care that comes from love. So when life gets hectic, don't let respect be the first thing to fall by the wayside. Guard it, protect it. Respect is the glue that keeps two people standing together when the storms of work, stress, and responsibility try to pull them apart. And if you can keep respect alive, love will always have room to grow, no matter how busy life gets. Respect is the foundation of any lasting relationship, and it's one of the first things people forget when life gets overwhelming. See, love without respect is just words. You can say, I love you, 100 times, but if your actions don't match up, if your partner feels unheard, dismissed, or taken for granted, those words lose all meaning. Respect is not just about being polite, it's about valuing your partner's presence, their time, their feelings, their opinions, and even their silence. It's about making sure they never feel like they're competing with your job, your phone, or your stress for a spot in your life. When life gets busy, the temptation is to cut corners. You start saying, I'll get to it later. I'll talk to them tomorrow. Or, they'll be fine. They know I care. But that's where disrespect sneaks in, not always loud or obvious, but in the little ways that say, you're not as important as what I've got going on right now. That's when your partner starts to feel small, and once someone feels small long enough, they start to question if they even belong in your world. That's dangerous ground. Respect is about listening, even when you're tired. It's about keeping your promises, even when they're small. If you said you'd call, call. If you said you'd be home by 7, make the effort, or at least communicate if things change. That consistency builds trust, and trust is what keeps love strong through the storms of life. When respect slips, trust cracks. And once trust cracks, love starts to wobble like a chair with a broken leg. It can't hold weight the way it used to. Another part of respect is giving your partner space to be themselves. Don't try to control. Don't try to mold them into who you want them to be. Respect means honoring who they are, even if they're different from you. It means celebrating their strengths, supporting their dreams, and never tearing them down with criticism or comparison. Because if you're with someone you don't respect, or if you constantly make them feel less, then they're going to start pulling away emotionally, even if they're still physically present. And here's the truth. Respect doesn't take grand effort, but it does take mindfulness. It's as simple as saying, thank you for the little things. It's about listening without interrupting. It's making your partner feel like their thoughts matter, even if you don't always agree. It's treating them with the same dignity you'd give a stranger on the street, but with a deeper care that comes from love. So when life gets hectic, don't let respect be the first thing to fall by the wayside. Guard it, protect it. Respect is the glue that keeps two people standing together when the storms of work, stress, and responsibility try to pull them apart. And if you can keep respect alive, love will always have room to grow, no matter how busy life gets. Intimacy is not just about the physical. It's about staying connected on an emotional, spiritual, and mental level. See, when life gets busy, people start living like roommates instead of partners. You share the same house, eat at the same table, maybe even sleep in the same bed, but the connection, it starts to fade because you're both running on autopilot. That's how couples drift apart without even realizing it. Real intimacy takes intentional effort. It's in the little things that often get overlooked. Holding hands when you walk into the grocery store, looking each other in the eyes when you talk, hugging longer than a quick pat on the back. Those small gestures keep love alive. Because intimacy is really about saying, I still see you, I still want you, I still choose you. Even when the world is pulling you in 100 directions. Life has a way of piling responsibilities on us. Jobs, kids, bills, deadlines. And when you're stretched thin, intimacy often gets pushed to the back burner. You tell yourself, we'll make time later. But later never comes unless you create it. If you don't feed intimacy, the relationship starts starving. That's when one person starts feeling lonely, even though they're not alone. And that loneliness inside a relationship, that's one of the most painful feelings in the world. Now, here's the truth. Intimacy doesn't require hours of planning or expensive getaways. It's about being present. If you're with your partner, be with them. Put the phone down, turn off the TV, and really talk. Ask them how they're doing, not just how was your day, but what's been on your mind lately. That's intimacy. Caring about the inside, not just the outside. And when you listen, really listen, without judgment, you're building a bond that no busy schedule can break. And yes, physical intimacy matters too, but it's more than just sex. It's affection, it's touch, it's closeness. A kiss on the forehead, a hand on the back, a cuddle on the couch. These things matter more than people think. They remind your partner that you're not just sharing space, you're sharing love. When life gets busy, touch is a powerful way to say, I haven't forgotten about us. So don't let busyness rob you of connection. Intimacy is the oxygen of love. Without it, the flame goes out. Keep it alive with intentional effort. A date night doesn't have to be fancy. Sometimes it's just sitting on the porch with coffee, laughing about the old times. Sometimes it's whispering, I love you, at random moments. It's not about how much time you have. It's about how much of yourself you're willing to give in the moments you do have. If you want love to last beyond the chaos of life, you have to protect intimacy. Because when two people feel deeply connected, mind, body, and soul, no amount of business can break them apart. Respect is the glue that holds a relationship together. Even when life throws its heaviest challenges at you. See, when everything around you gets loud, your job, your responsibilities, your worries, respect is the quiet strength that keeps your love steady. Without it, love becomes fragile. You can love somebody with all your heart, but if you stop respecting them, that love won't last. Respect means honoring who your partner is, even when you don't always agree with them. It's about recognizing their worth and treating them with the dignity they deserve day in and day out. When life gets busy, people often lose patience with each other. You snap at each other over small things. You dismiss feelings with quick words like, we'll talk later. Or you act like your partner should just understand, without you saying a word. But respect requires slowing down long enough to remind yourself, this person is not just anybody, they're my partner. That mindset changes how you talk, how you listen, how you show up, because disrespect can slowly chip away at love without you even noticing. Respect shows up in your words. The tone you use when you're frustrated says just as much as the words themselves. You can disagree without being cruel. You can express hurt without tearing the other person down. And the truth is, sometimes people speak to strangers more kindly than they do to the one they love at home. That's backwards. If anyone deserves your best words, it's the person who chose to share their life with you. Respect also shows up in actions. When you keep your promises, big or small, you show your partner that their trust in you isn't misplaced. When you respect their time, their opinions, their space, and their dreams, you're saying, I value you not just as my partner, but as a person. And let me tell you, that's powerful. Because love without respect feels empty, but love with respect feels unbreakable. Now, here's something most people miss. Respect is not just about avoiding hurtful behavior. It's about actively uplifting your partner. It's about celebrating their strengths, even when life is moving so fast that you barely stop to celebrate anything at all. It's about saying, I see what you're doing, and I'm proud of you. Respect doesn't just mean not tearing someone down. It means helping them rise higher. So when life gets hectic and you're both stretched thin, make respect non-negotiable. Don't let stress be an excuse to mistreat each other. Slow down long enough to talk with kindness, to listen without cutting each other off, to show appreciation even for the little things. That's how respect keeps love alive. Because when two people know they are honored and valued, they don't feel like they're fighting life alone. They feel like they're standing side by side, ready to take on the world together. Trust is the heartbeat of every lasting relationship, and when life gets busy, it becomes even more important. See, love without trust is like a house built on sand. No matter how beautiful it looks, the moment pressure comes, it crumbles. Trust is what allows you and your partner to move through the chaos of life without constantly questioning each other's intentions. It's the foundation that says, I believe in you, I believe in us, and I don't have to check your every move to feel secure. When your schedule is packed, when deadlines and responsibilities are pulling you in 100 directions, trust is the thing that keeps the relationship from falling apart. Because the truth is, you won't always have the time to sit together for hours and reassure each other. You won't always be able to explain every detail of where you are or what you're doing. But when trust is strong, you don't need to. Your partner knows your character, your loyalty, and your commitment, even when life demands your attention elsewhere. The absence of trust creates constant tension. It turns small moments into big arguments. A late text reply suddenly feels like betrayal. A long workday turns into suspicion. And once doubt creeps in, it grows fast unless both people are intentional about building that trust back. That's why protecting trust is not optional, it's essential. And it's built not just in grand gestures, but in daily choices. Trust is built in honesty. When you tell the truth, even about small things, you're saying to your partner, you can count on my word. When you admit mistakes instead of covering them up, you show that your integrity matters more than your pride. And when you keep your word, when you show up when you say you will, when you do what you promised, you add another brick to the foundation of security your partner can stand on. Trust also requires transparency. Now, that doesn't mean you give your partner a play-by-play of every second of your life. It means you live in a way that leaves no room for unnecessary suspicion. You don't keep secrets that could come back and damage the bond. You live openly because you know your relationship is a team, not a competition. And here's the beauty of trust. When it's strong, it gives your love freedom to breathe. Instead of feeling like you're chained to each other by fear, you feel connected by choice. You don't need to constantly prove yourself because your partner already knows who you are and what you stand for. That creates peace, and peace is what allows love to keep growing even when life outside is chaotic. So if you want to keep love alive when life gets busy, guard your trust like treasure. Protect it with your honesty, strengthen it with your consistency, and honor it with your loyalty. Because once trust is broken, it takes time and effort to rebuild. But when trust is alive and well, it makes love unshakable, even in the busiest, toughest seasons of life. Listen, love ain't just about the butterflies you felt in the beginning. It's about the work you put in when life gets heavy, when schedules get crazy, when energy runs low. The truth is, real love shows up when the honeymoon fades and real life kicks in. If you want to keep that love alive, you've got to stay intentional. Keep talking, keep showing gratitude, keep the romance alive. Make time even when it feels impossible, and above all, protect the trust you've built. Anybody can fall in love, but not everybody can stay in love. Staying in love takes choice, it takes effort, and it takes consistency. Don't ever think the small things don't matter, because it's the small things that add up to a lifetime of love. When you keep watering the relationship, even in busy seasons, you're telling your partner, you still matter, we still matter, and I'm not letting life steal what we built. At the end of the day, love isn't lost because life gets busy. It's lost because people stop trying. Don't let that be your story. Do the work, protect the bond, and I promise you, your love won't just survive the busy seasons. It'll come out stronger than ever.